How does one begin to design a roadmap to restoring a fading ecosystem? The Western Ghats is the perfect laboratory for understanding ecosystems and species found nowhere else on our planet. With rivers that carve valleys through lush forests, this is a landscape of secrets just waiting to be discovered. Water has long shaped landscapes and the lives of wildlife and people alike. Wetlands and rivers have occupied our life histories and given rise to livelihoods, traditions, and customs. Nowhere else is this more apparent than in Uttar Kannada. This district in the South Indian state of Karnataka retains the honor of being the most forested district. Indeed, forests here tower above the heads of people, their whispering trees telling tales of unknown treasures. Like this Myristica swamp. How many of you have seen one of these ecosystems?
I've been associated with the Prakriti Research Fellowship since 2022 when I first got the grant to work on Myristica swamps in Uttar Kannada, a district in Karnataka state. My work actually came about because I visited Myristica swamps in 2019 for the first time, and I had never heard of this ecosystem. And when I saw these towering trees, fresh water flowing year round, and heavy encroachment on all sides from plantations, I knew that something had to be done.
Myristica swamps are one of the oldest systems on Earth, dating back to the late Cretaceous. But apart from their relic biodiversity, I was curious to understand local knowledge and perceptions of these swamps. Without the involvement of local communities, a successful conservation or even restoration plan for swamps would be near impossible. My first goal was to understand the main threats to swamps. The obvious threat appeared to be arecanut or beetle plantations. With their constant need for irrigation, arecanut grows well in the cool, moist soil that adjoins Myristica swamps. I mapped the relative disturbance to 30 different swamps in Uttar Kannada, trekking deep into the forest in some cases to find them. I also measured the area of each swamp, the number of swamp obligate trees present, and the water quality flowing into and out of each swamp across 3 sampling seasons. Next, I engaged with stakeholders to better understand their perceptions of swamps and their ecosystem services. The biggest service people attributed to swamps was clean water to drink, followed by cool air and cultural services. Many swamps are sacred and local deities are worshipped here. I learned that many sacred swamps are only accessed by members of certain communities, and extraction of resources from these swamps is prohibited. However, the collection of fruits for sambar and medicinal herbs was common in non-sacred swamps. The locals expressed interest in restoring swamps mainly to maintain the flow of fresh water during the dry season when they most required it. Some people expressed concern of swamps being polluted by effluents, runoff from roads and fields, and litter. I also visited many schools to engage with the younger generation and increase their awareness of swamps. Using flashcards, storytelling, and illustrated posters, we were able to instill a sense of wonder and appreciation for this little known ecosystem among children.
The Prakriti Research Fellowship came at a really good time for me because I was going to begin my PhD work and I did not have funding, and that's when I thought to apply for this grant. And this seed grant has provided support, funding, and motivation to go out to the field every day and actually try to make a difference. As part of my work, I've been interacting with local communities about how they perceive swamps and how they interact with swamps as well. So I've talked to arecanut farmers, I've talked to women who labor in the fields, and I've also talked to the households that worship in swamps, which is something I had never thought of before. And it was really, really interesting to go out there and, with the support of Prakriti on my back, I was able to actually go out there and record people's interactions with swamps, make short videos about them, and also hold focus group discussions and interviews with locals to understand what they thought was required in order to better conserve and restore degraded swamps. So many thanks to Prakriti Research Fellowship, not only for supporting me from 2022 to 23, but also giving me a booster grant from 23 to 24 to continue my research. Without this grant, it would have been impossible to achieve the work I've done so far, to actually conduct hydrological surveys and water quality surveys in the field, and to build the bonds that I've built with the local communities. So thank you so much, and I really hope that the grant continues to inspire young conservationists around India and really make a difference.